Okay, so I grew up as a product of a single-parent home, right? Dad left home at a very early age, and growing up in that environment, we kind of ran to the streets to validate our masculinity. So the streets led me to the drugs, drugs led me to the gangs, gangs led me to criminal activity, and that criminal activity led me to my very first set of handcuffs at 12 years old. So growing up in that type of environment, life just kind of spiraled out of control from there. Caught my very first felony conviction at 16 years old, and again, life was just went to turmoil from there. Kept coming in and out of the prison systems, systems in New York, systems in Nevada, and then I wound up serving time in a maximum security United States federal penitentiary behind 50-foot walls. So it came a time on that journey where I was saying to myself, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and looking back over the last 30 some odd years of my life, saying that I know that life has to be more than what it was I've been living. If somehow something was different, but never really knew what that difference was, and I surrendered my life to the Lord, asked Him to step in and change my life, and unmistakably He did. Turned my life around in a 180-degree turn in the other direction. So the turnaround, the life change had come to me when I was facing the possibility of spending the next 23 years of my life in prison. Right? I know that I'm about to go before the judge, and the judge has the potential, based off of my criminal history, that could have been the maximum. So when I found myself there in solitary confinement, and a chaplain had come by the door and dropped the Bible inside the door in solitary confinement, and I started to read the Bible, and God really started speaking into my heart. And it came a time in that solitary confinement where I invited Jesus to be the Lord of my life. And again, unmistakably, He stepped in, and I had surrendered my life to Him, went off to prison. And for me, behind those 50-foot walls, I didn't go to prison in here. I went to Bible college. I went to school. I wanted to learn everything that I possibly can from all those mistakes that I made to kind of transform my life. And out of that learning, God had impregnated me with the vision of hope for prisoners, and I came home and gave birth to His vision. Well, the secret sauce at Hope for Prisoners is we work with men, women, and young adults that are exiting different arenas of our judicial system, is to make sure that we're able to provide them with the supportive services and the training to help them to successfully not only get acclimated back into workplaces, but make sure there's mechanisms in place to help once they get inside that workplace, they're going to be afforded every opportunity to thrive and be able to grow, and then afforded every opportunity to succeed. We address the needs for them to get acclimated back into their family, and that has been a missed mark of reentry since forever. It's like no one's ever given the particular close attention to the men and women that are coming home from the system, that they have to get reconnected with their family, with their wives, their husbands, and particularly get reintegrated with their children. So it's imperative that there is a mechanism in place to help with that family reunification component, because if that's not right, then everything else in the world has a tendency to fall apart. But then on the back end of the process, the secret sauce has become a long-term 18-month process where we walk with people, not only to help them to walk out all the incredible training that we provided for them, but to be able to be there for them, to help them to navigate the different challenges they're going to be facing during that reintegration process. The law enforcement mentorship partnership, working with people who are formerly incarcerated, is so very important to our community. Because if you think about it, the mission of our organization is to help men and women who come home from the prison system. We want to train them up, take their rightful positions in their home, the workforce, and inside the community. But if we're going to get men and women who are from this segment of the population to get out in the community and to never reoffend again, we have to instill in them a love and appreciation and respect for the rules and regulations of our community. We found that that gets enhanced when they're in relationship with the men and women who uphold the law. So absolutely, our success rate is absolutely phenomenal. It shows that more than 74% of our folks who come through our process, was successful in gaining full-time employment. And only 6% of those individuals return back to the prison system. It is something that we are extremely encouraged by. The more than 79% recidivism rate for this country, I think that we're knocking it out of the ballpark. And I think that the law enforcement partnership is key in doing that. But if you turn the coin over to the other side, think about what this level of partnership is doing. It's helping men and women from law enforcement view people from this segment of the population that are out there really truly fighting for a second chance. Is helping them to see them from a whole nother set of lenses. And that's what's really bridging that gap between the disconnect between law enforcement and people inside the community.